Okay, so what happened after the end of season 3? Because that was the last real Boondocks season, and we'll get into why that is later. But around that time, after season 3 ended, Aaron left the show, you left the show, and there was some drama around the whole situation. So explain to me what happened with the show that was really, season 3 was at its height, I felt. Like it was more popular than it ever been. Yeah. Everyone loved it. It was a cult, had a cult following. So what happened? Okay,
so I'll explain to you how it happened from my perspective, right? Mm-hmm. I'm in the booth, because I played Thugnificent in the show, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm in the booth recording Dick Riding Obama, right? So I'm like, Dick riding for tomorrow, Dick riding for today. And I see one of the producers, Brian Cowan, is like, tell me to stop. And I'm like, what's up? And so he said, so I come out the booth and he's like, Aaron wants to talk to you, right? But he said, use the owner of the studio, use their office, and I'm like, oh, okay, that doesn't sound good, right? So, so I go upstairs and I get on the phone, and Aaron is just screaming, right? Like, and mind you, up to this point, he and I never had a beef. We never got into it about anything. Like, we were just always really cool. Never yelled, none of that. Like, So he's going off, and he's mad because of Vlad. He's mad because of Vlad. Because Vlad posted something about the episode he was in, that you were in.
Right. Okay. So after I did the voiceover, and you guys were getting ready to release season 3, a trailer comes out, and I think I got to see an early cut of the episode. Complex did an interview with me about that because, it was clear that my face was out there and so forth. So I provided a very vanilla version of what happened without giving away any details or whatever else. But I guess Aaron was upset over what I had said about the episode.
Yeah, I mean,
but I didn't reveal anything, or there was no from my perspective, it was like I don't understand what I did wrong here.
Well, see, so I'm going to tell you the rest of the story, and you'll see how you were basically you weren't the explosion, you were the fuse.
Okay,
right. So you weren't the reason why it all fell apart, but that was I think what gave Aaron a reason to open up about some more issues that he had, right? But so when that happened, I mean, you was all kind of motherfuckers too. But but what happened was I realized after that conversation, because I got so mad, because we started we was screaming back and forth, and then I didn't even finish. I don't think I finished Dick Riding Obama. I think I left. I just got in the car. Pause. Right. I think I left. Got in the car, and I eventually I think finished it, and then all our conversations from that point on were not really that good. And what I realized later was he was actually more mad at the fact that I was doing a Black Dynamite pilot.
Okay.
Which that came out later, but he was using you as a way, I think that was the way in, a way to get around having to actually talk about what it really was. But eventually we got there. And so his thinking, look, the show is really hard to make. It's really fucking hard. I mean, it takes us 2 years, and we're working around the clock, literally, sun up to sundown. We're always we don't have any social life. So I know there was some concern about my bandwidth and whether or not I could actually balance doing a pilot and doing this at the same time. But from my perspective, I knew how, because the show was so hard, a lot of times Aaron would be very vocal about how much he hated doing it. I think he loved the creative part of it, but it was so hard to do. I would be a little concerned sometimes that maybe the show would not even last another season because it was that hard on him, And mind you, when he was doing the comic strip, he had some health issues doing the comic strip. Due to stress of doing the comic strip. So that's part of the reason why he also brought on help, right? So now we're doing this show where everyone's still kind of stressed out. And then there's the politics going on with Sony, and this is a bunch of shit. So I know from his perspective, he was concerned about me not being able to do both. But I think some of it was also wanting to keep me under his wing. You know what I mean? And I was in a place where I was wanting to spread my wings and do some of my own things. You know what I mean? Independently. So I never was planning to leave the Boondocks. I just wanted to also write another show or create other things, you know?
Right, because I remember when you called me about it, I hit up Complex and we took certain parts out of the interview right away. So it wasn't a big deal on our end. And, but yeah, I didn't realize that it was churning into a bigger thing.
Yeah, Vlad, you in the middle of a lot of beef. I'm in the middle
of all of it.
Oh, everybody's beef.
Everyone's beef. I'm somehow in the middle of it. Oh, Vlad's the reason why the Boondocks got canceled. I've heard that before. But after the whole back and forth with you guys, season 3 ended up being the last season that you guys worked on because Aaron McGruder ended up leaving, right?
I can't speak to what actually happened during that 4th season because I was not there. I've heard different things, but I don't want to, spread any rumors. So I don't know how much he was involved. I just know I had nothing to do with it at all.
So you were involved in season 4 at all?
No.
Did you have the option to stay?
So it's a weird thing. It was Adult Swim wanted me back and Aaron didn't.
Huh. Okay. But Aaron ended up not being involved either. So
I guess at some point.
Okay.
But initially because they called me and they asked me, am I willing to, put aside whatever differences there were between me and Aaron and move forward and do another season? And I was like, of course. Are you kidding me? Like, I love the Boondocks. And to be honest, I love everybody that worked on this show, man. We were like a family. We were really tight to the family. So to this day, it's still painful to me. Like, it's emotional because we were close. So even on we were friends, and so it's not like it's just a bad business deal or we two people that just decided not to work together anymore. We also were cool. So I was always willing to try to fix things or patch things up. And so, so Adult Swim was like, all right, cool. Let me call Aaron and see if he'd be willing to maybe have a dinner and see if we can squash this and move forward. And then he called me back about 30 or 40 minutes later. He was like, yeah, he doesn't want to do it. So I'm like, all right, cool. I had a few other things going on at the time. Anyway, I was doing Black Dynamite and some other stuff. So I was just like, that's fine. I mean, if he doesn't want to work with me no more, it is what it is. And then I guess they started working on season 4, and then I think it just kind of went off the rails.